Howdy folks, this is Travis of the Elston Equine YouTube channel in partnership with the Clopton Cow Company. While you're here, please hit subscribe and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Today's talking point is embarrassment and awakening the greatness within to help your horse. To start with, I'm going to bring up a quote by Buck Brandman. The horse is a great equalizer. He don't care how good looking you are. He don't care how rich you are. He don't care how powerful you are. He takes you for how you make him feel. And you're thinking, well, what's that got to do with this episode? It's real easy. If that's all a horse cares about, that's all you should be worried about. Taking care of your horse and setting the conditions right to help him help you. And we're going to give a couple examples during this episode what I'm talking about. The first one being, this was a long time ago. I was a stable officer at Fort Benning, Georgia. Now it's known as Fort Moore. And there used to be a lot of interesting folks there. Let's just put it that way. And a lot of cliques at this saddle club. A lot of bad apples, a lot of good apples, and a lot of apples just sitting on the fence, ready to be picked on one side or the other. So those are the kind of conditions that you can kind of see were shaped up. But it only takes a few bad apples for the rest of the barrel to kind of get toxic. And when I think about this, when I was a stable officer, I was often watching a few people wait until these bad apples left, and then they'd mosey on down to the barn, take the horse out of the stall, go ahead and groom it, saddle up, and then go to the arena and start riding after they switch the light switch on. And they'd ride in this arena and ride in the arena. And they'd have a pretty good time with their horse, which is a good thing. But not every time were they able to make it down to the arena at nighttime once everybody left during the day. Okay, especially those couple bad apples. For one thing, you know, they got kids at home, need to be fed, need to be clothed, need schoolwork, need guidance, need leadership. Okay? Or they just worked so long during the day that they're so tired that it was pretty hard to get out to their horse and be able to ride during the evenings. And when I pondered upon this and thought about it, I understood what they were doing. They were so worried about these bad apples, observing them riding and making fun of them, that they didn't want to face that ridicule, which they shouldn't have to. And they didn't want to face the snide comments, which they shouldn't have to. And in the long run, in my opinion, they were kind of robbing their horse of luxury of the owner. And these people are pretty much introverts, but they're more worried about being embarrassed. Okay? So when I think about Buck Brandman's quote, a horse doesn't care about how good looking you are, how rich, how powerful you are. He doesn't care about them folks either. But he does care about you and who's riding him. So if we go off of that context, I would have to say that you shouldn't matter who's there off to the sidelines, the peanut gallery. It doesn't matter who else is around. Ride your horse. And you're going to say, well, Travis, that's all a tall order. And I agree with you. But I could tell you there's numerous times when I was contract work at the Air Force Academy and I was riding horses there at the stables. I would often get a horse that was pretty sour, pretty bad, pretty nasty. And I'd saddle the horse up, take him out, do the groundwork, do the riding, and Sometimes they'd fight back on, this is how I want to do it. Because you got to remember, a horse has to have confidence in 3 areas. And this is in accordance with Tom Dorrance. They have to have confidence in the rider. They have to have confidence in themselves and confidence with the surroundings. Or i.e. the environment. And what my point is that sometimes it looked ugly. It looked bad. Okay, I'd be inside the arena, I'd be riding, and I'd be working where the horse is at. And car would go by while this is going on, and it just looked like I didn't know what I was doing. The horse looked like he was doing horrible. And I wouldn't let it bother me. I'd have people walk by, walking their dogs. I'd have, you name it, anybody underneath the sun walking by, or riding a horse for that matter, observing Travis ride a horse. And they're thinking, well, he's not that good. And I just let it roll off like water off a duck's back. And this is why. I didn't care what they thought. I didn't care what they were thinking. The only thing that mattered to me was the horse's attitude. And I could tell you the horse's attitude got a lot better, got a lot friendlier, and we're working together to get the job done at the end of the day. And I knew as the weeks went by, the horse kept getting better, the horse kept getting better. And then finally I was able to turn the horse over to the owner, and man, talk about a big smile on their face. They had a fabulous time with their horse. So if you look in hindsight, or rewind this scenario, I could have stopped, been embarrassed, could have waited till nighttime because I was an introvert rider or was embarrassed about making mistakes. I would probably be robbing that horse the chance to get better, okay, for himself and for the rider. And pretty soon, all the people were making fun of me. They weren't making fun no more because that horse got better and better and way better than their horses. So I don't think about that. I think about being with a horse. Every horse I work with, that's my concern, and that's the horse I want to be with. Now I can give you another scenario. When I was the horsemanship coach for the Air Force Academy rodeo team, we had a lot of young riders, and you don't give no scholarships out for being part of that rodeo team. That's just an add-on being there at the academy. And that is a top-rate school, let me tell you. Not only do they have to learn highly academic education, but they also have to learn about military stuff. Then on top of that, oh, by the way, go play sport, okay? So whether it be a football team, basketball team, wrestling, volleyball, rodeo team, whatever it is, they had it there. So when you look underneath that lens, that's quite a bit for a young cadet to go with, all right? And they're still impressionable during that age, all right? They're still learning and learning at a fast scale. And peer pressure is a big one, especially for somebody who doesn't like to be embarrassed or doesn't put themselves in a situation where they like to be embarrassed, okay? We've all been there. I've been there before too. And over the years, you learn that you'll probably never see them people ever again. You'll never look at them ever again. But you do have to look yourself in the mirror each day. Whether you're shaving or if you're a gal putting on makeup, you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, can I look at myself today? And I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't want to be in that position. I want to be in that position. Not only can I look myself in the eye, but I can also rub my horse, look him in the eye and say, I'm here for you. Okay? I'm going to put all my embarrassment to the side. I'm going to put all my ego, human ego to the side and say, I'm here for you. Okay, so getting back to the cadets. So the rodeo team cadets, you'd also have a group of people never ridden a horse before, and that's where I came in. So I used to teach horsemanship as a rodeo coach to help people who had never ridden a horse be able to compete at a college level. Okay, and because of that, they get homework, and they'd actually do the homework. Some other ones are just mediocre. They might not want to do the homework because they were embarrassed that their peers were watching them ride or somebody else is watching them ride. So they'd wait till the whole rodeo team got done during the day or mid-evening and get out there late evening and try to work on their craft, okay? And that wasn't all good because once again, they get way tired for the rest of their subjects that we talked about. The rest of their education, whether it be their college degree or military experience. And their batteries are just getting drained. Even though they don't get much sleep because they're teenagers and they can do that, I guess. But my point being is they shouldn't have worried about their peers. They should have just been worried about doing what's right for the horse. And that's easy to say, I know. But sometimes you got to pick the hard right over the easy wrong. Okay, so another topic I want to talk about for those of you who are introverts or scared to be embarrassed. Let's talk about clinics real quick. Over the years, I have noticed whether I'm teaching a clinic or somebody else is holding a clinic and I'm riding in it, there's always a group of individuals that don't say anything. So the clinicians will say, at this time, is there any questions? And you might get one or two people to say, hey, I got a question on this. All of a sudden, that clinician zeroes in on them and says, okay, this is how you do it. You do this, 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 and this. Okay? And then the rest of the time, next day, 2 days, 3 days, however days the clinic is, that clinician is making sure that rider gets it. Okay? Help them out more and more and more. Why do you think that is? Well, I could tell you why. Because they had the courage to ask a question for the horses. The clinician can't read your mind. They want to help the people that want to help clinicians want to help the people that want to help themselves and more importantly their horse. So they get after it and they help that clinician. Because the rest of them might be groupies, just check the bucket list. They show up and say, hey, I got to ride with this so-and-so famous clinician. And they get pictures with them, get an autograph of a book or a piece of training equipment, and then they're gone. And then they go brag about, I was with this clinician, okay? So it's hard for a clinician to decipher who really needs help, who really wants to help. So my best recommendations for you that are introvert or embarrassed, push that to the side. Don't worry about the Joneses. Don't worry about the Karens. And yes, there could be male versions of them too. Raise your hand. Say, hey, I got a question on this. And I guarantee you that clinician is going to help you. And you'll be better for it. And more times you do it, the better you get at asking questions in front of more people. And you'll see faster, more powerful results for your horse. Guaranteed. Okay? All right, for those of you that still can't get back past embarrassment and make yourself better for your horse, hey, get on YouTube channel. Go see a therapist. See somebody to help you get out of your shell and go experience life. Go experience helping your horse. Because ultimately, who are you cheating if you are not out there, no matter who's watching, riding your horse, enjoying your time, because it's only you and him. Like I said before, other people aren't going to be there. They're going to be down the road. Everything's not a constant, okay? You'll probably never see them again. But the biggest thing is you'll be seeing every day is your horse. And the biggest thing I want to talk about is this quote right here. Bravery comes from daring to fail. And in closing, I want to thank you for tuning in today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. And now, don't forget, you have the knowledge to become the solution. Until next time, adios.